So the idea is that when we talk about chemistry, right? So for example, when you're at home and you're making like some cake and you want to measure like say for example like 50 cm cube of water, right? You want to put that in the pan to make like the cake. Although it depends on what they use to make the cake. But if, for example, you have the ingredients. So chemistry is basically the study of matter and how it changes. So as you go deeper into the subject, you're gonna find things that are more complicated. As it relates to like if you can get a job when you study chemistry in school or if you can own a business, what do you think? Do you think you can get a job in chemistry or do you think you can own a business?
Can get a job.
So what about owning a business? Don't think you
Not
can.
sure.
Not sure. Alright, what do you? Alright, so you want to become what, a dermatologist?
Yeah.
But you do know that you can open. You do know that you can open your own like office and so on, right? And then
Yeah.
hire. Because you'd have to go to college to like study for dermatologist, right? To be certified. And then after you're certified, what you can do, you can either get a job if you choose, right? Or you can just branch off in doing something for your own self. That's what most doctors do, you know. So like most of the doctor them, for example, them go college, right? They become certified, then they like get persons to work for them.
Yeah.
That's a business. So that's something that you can do. Other things that you can do as it relates to chemistry, you can also become like forensic scientists. So, you know them. So for example, like if I watch the movie there before, where you see the persons them in a same white overall and the crime scene.
Sir?
Have you ever like have you ever watched a movie before where you see like the persons them in a the white overall?
Yeah.
Yeah man, so those are like forensics scientists. So they would like for
Yeah.
example process like crime scene, right? Some like autopsy and so on. So that's something that you can also become as well if you study chemistry. So also you can also become a lab tech, right? Just like the lab tech that you have like school and so on. Because remember, say like when you become a lab tech, you'd have to like mix like chemicals, ensure that they're in the correct proportions and so on. As it relates to like engineers, can also become chemical engineers, right? And that a big box. Same way you make big money when you study that as well. You can open a business, right? Stuff like that. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, you can open a business within your career. So instead of working for somebody, you can say, all right, I'm not working for anyone. I'm gonna do my own thing. And you run your own business, right? Yeah, yeah, hire persons to
Yeah.
work for you, and then you behind the scenes, you collect the revenue, stuff like that. Ensure that the workers them get paid. Cause you know want them start a rebellion and fight and them something. Teacher, you can also become that as well, right? And you don't have to work in a school to become a teacher, right? So, like what I'm doing now, right? You can also teach on YouTube, or you can have your own tutoring service. So you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it like that. Yes, you can go college, get certified, right? After you're certified, you can start your own thing. You can start your own tutoring. You make online videos, get student that you can tutor, right? Then you can make money from that for your own self instead of say, all right, gonna work for the government gonna give me salary, right? They're gonna tax my money, then just gonna do my own thing, do my own business, and then find students who we can tutor, a group of persons who you can tutor, and then charge a certain amount of fee, right? Lecturer, the lecturer, so the persons them who is at university that you would be going in a few years if you want to study dermatologist, right? They would be deemed as lecturer, right? It's a bit different than high school, right? Because lectures, every lecture is different. So some just come to class, right? They do presentation and then they send you like the notes in your email. So it all depends, right? So it depends. And then
Yeah.
for example, right, you can also make certain products, right? The same entrepreneur thing, right? So for example, you discover a new element or you discover something new in chemistry, and then you attach a name to it, right? When you attach your name to that product, right, you get what we call royalty, right? So just like the artists them that make music, right? The Drake, the Alkaline, the Masika them, they make money off streaming, that are the royalty, right? And they also like get sponsorship deals, have their own brand, stuff like that. So yeah, it depends. You understand this section? Or you don't want to ask me? You have any question you don't want to ask me? Are you good?
Good.
Alright. You sure?
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, cool. So who inspired you to say, alright, you want to become a dermatologist? Or you just randomly say, alright, this month, this month do?
Did search. The search about it.
Oh, alright.
Do some research.
Alright, good. And as I said before, you can work for like 4 or 5 years. It depends on your mindset. Work for 4 or 5 years, and then the knowledge that you get, you can also teach that knowledge, just like what I'm doing now. So when you become a dermatologist and you gain knowledge about the skin, you can also teach it to other persons that want the knowledge. So just like how I've studied chemistry, right? And then for the persons who want to study chemistry, I can transfer the knowledge that I have or I have gained to that person, right? And of course, to be honest, every single thing that we do, it boils down to money, right? Because you go to school to learn, but at the end of the day, when you learn and you get the certificate, you also want a career. And the reason why you work, right? And in that career path is that you want to get paid so you can take care of your family, your mother, your father. So everything boils down to money to an extent. Money is not everything, but it's important because you need it. And then most of the times, I think you probably would have to do CAPE. I think you'd have to do CAPE to become a dermatologist, right? So I think so. If mine serve me right, and then probably you can either you go overseas or you go to like the typical UAE you take. So it's important that you make use of the opportunity right now, and you try to do it as at a young age, per se. So you make use of this phase that you're in, right? Get the subject them, don't waste the time in a school, and then after you get the subject them, you just move straight into college, right? Move straight into college now, then you know say, alright, yeah, 4 or 5 years, and then afterwards you can do your thing, open a business, or even while you're in a college, you can even do the business, right? You don't have to limit yourself. So the preview of things that we're gonna be doing, right? You're gonna learn about you already learn about that solid, liquid, and gas, right? And then you're gonna learn about atoms and molecules, right? You're gonna learn about mixtures and solutions. You're gonna learn about acid and bases, right? So the vinegar that you use at home when it relates to like the chicken, when mommy and daddy are seasoning up the chicken and them stuff there, right? We're gonna learn about that. Well, we learn about the rice and peas on Sunday already when you smell it in your room, when you play Minecraft or you play COD, all of them stuff there. And then we're gonna be looking at like what happens during baking, and then when you have that iron and it become start to rot, stuff like that. So we're gonna learn about that. The periodic table, I think you should have a copy. You have a copy of the periodic table already?
Not yet.
Yeah, man. Margaret, need to get that in. You have to hit the ground running. Yeah, man. So you have a phone ready, just you have a laptop, or you have to go upon chat GPT and say, send me get a copy of the periodic table.
Yes, sir. 1 second.
So the idea is that the reason why you study chemistry in school, right, is that you need it to also have to get a career, as you indicated, right? And you also need
Yeah.
it to learn about the basic stuff that you do at home, cooking, cleaning, right, medicine. Because remember, dermatologist, you're gonna also deal with medicine, because you want to advise when acne break out on the skin. You advise certain persons to say, all right, buy this product, buy this cream. And you know for sure if it is that you give them the wrong prescription, you know what's gonna happen, right? So
Yeah.
that's important as it relates to like careers, cooking, right? Because when you're at home and you're cleaning, you know to say, all right, I should use bleach Why? Because bleach would contain certain type of chemicals or certain type of elements to like to remove bacteria, right? And then when you're cleaning off the stove, stuff like that, you use certain type of items, right? When you're dealing with the car, you're using certain type of items, you're using degrees, it all depends. So yeah, so as I said before, it all depends what exactly you want to become, right? But you need it to like study everything in your, you need to study like everyday life because it's important. To be if I'm being honest, a lot of stuff that you learn, right, you're probably not gonna use it after you leave school. I'm being honest, right? Because I've learned a lot in a school and a whole heap of stuff I don't use it, right? And then again, a lot of stuff that you use, you're gonna need it, and you're gonna need it, and you even sometimes you not even know that you're using it, right? Because if it is that you're cooking, right, you know, or for example, you're cooking flour dumpling, as them say in Jamaica, right? You know to say, all right, I should do it this way. I should pour X amount of water on it, right? So it all depends. So you follow me as so far, or you follow me as or me I lose you.
Yeah, I understand.
Alright, good. How to be good at chemistry, right? Even it, for example, passion is important, right? Alright, you're curious. So if you're curious about something, you're always eager to learn. So if you're curious about science, if you're curious about chemistry overall, right? That's one way to become a good student. Curiosity, always keep going, you want to learn, stuff like that. And then you also have to be organized, as I mentioned before. So when you get the work, put it in your phone, write it somewhere that you can see it, right? And then when you go home, you log it on the calendar, stuff like that. Or if you have a calendar in your room, you can circle dates, due dates, and stuff like that. Or another
Yeah.
one that's very much important, you can get the course outline. Now, what do I mean by that? Every single thing that you see the teacher them teaching at school, a course outline. So CXC would basically make a course outline, then they make it available to the schools. So it's just like a standard to say, all right, this is what you should teach. Because imagine, say, everybody teach any and everything, right? There wouldn't be any standard. So they make that, it's a document, and every topic that you see in the course outline, CXC would jog questions on the certain topics from the course outline and then ask you guys, the student, ask the students, right? And then, I mean, I have the course outline, you can get it online, right? I can send you as well, right? Because I mean, it's free, they're online, so you can send that way, you can do additional practice. So in my time, what I used to do, right? I used to read ahead, and reading ahead, right? You answer when you read ahead, you know you have better knowledge. When you come class, you know you can understand questions, watch YouTube videos, and then the things them women never understand, come class, ask the teachers. So that's one way. The course outline and you get the resource them. I have the PDF, may have the PDF for the textbook. I can send that as well. That are the online textbook. That's the consigns, right? So you can get that online as well. I'm gonna send that so you can study from that, right? That's important. That's a good book as well because I have that. I have that I use to teach and so on. You can get resources. Those are the resources, right? You have a lot of past papers online. Um, a lot of stuff. Past papers with solutions, right? Like answer. Everything that you need is on the internet. But it all depends on what we use the internet for. Questions they on TikTok answered. Questions they on YouTube answered, right? I've done a lot of videos on my YouTube channel as well when sharing the knowledge. So it all depends. So if you want it, you really want it, you will find them. Or you depend it. So it depends what you use the internet for. So you're there on TikTok, I watch videos. So it all depends. You depend on YouTube, I watch Dude Perfect, I watch Mr. Beast for months and days. You can also find that. You can also find what lot of resources are related to chemistry online as well. Any question? Come on, me alone at talk, you know.
Uh, sir, so the CXC coursework could be like normal work we do in a class, right?
Ah, you're talking about like
The
the
CSEC,
SPA? What is the CSEC?
yeah, coursework.
Alright, so what most teachers do, they will tend to give you like prototype type questions or because CXC start from 9th grade, you know. But primarily they zoom into 10 and 11, 10 to 11, the 2 year time there. Um, so most of the times teachers would like, for example, pull past paper questions and then they will give you past paper questions in class. Right, so they prepare you for the exam. So we're for example, like in a 9th grade where you say, all right, random question and say, all right, you define matter. You'll see, yes, you might see them asking to define matter, but how they do it is that they want you to think outside of the box or to use critical thinking. So they, for example, they give you like a little scenario and then they would ask you questions linked to the scenario. So it depends. And that's where most of the students them would have struggled. Right? So for example, them even ask you the state of matter. Them say, all right, water exists in solid, liquid, and gas. Um, three state types of matter, and then there's a fourth state of matter, right? And then they ask you some other questions. So, like for one question, you'd have like, for example, you have 5 Roman numerals from that to the attached to that question.